Hello, everybody. This is Rugman. Welcome back to Create Astral. I have been again incredibly busy digging holes in the side of this poor mountain and making room to do a few things. So we're gonna go check that out in just a second because we do have a small little factory going and a second floor basement. I don't know how we're gonna do this, but anyhow, a couple little things I did want to talk about and I forgot to talk about last time. If you're playing this game and you want to be able to try to chunk load your chunks, this is going to be something that's going to be kind of important to say. If you want to try to chunk load your chunks or the chunks that you're trying to be using here, and you want Create to be able to actually do anything outside of mine blocks, meaning the deployers. You need to come into your teams up here, my team, and click the settings button over here and make sure allow fake players or all fake players is set to true. By default, it is not. So it's set to false. I beat my head against the wall for about a good hour or two over there when I was building a couple of things and when I noticed that I was having some problems because you set up your tree farm and you go away and you want to go do a little bit of exploration or something and come back and find out that your trees haven't been growing. So then you set your chunk loading on and then you turn your chunk loading on and your chunk loading now suddenly doesn't work because of the fact that that is going on. So that is something to know about if you are messing around with things. So let's go take a little bit of a look. I have expanded, or at least got most of the hallway up here done, at least to the way that I want it to be. We're still going to work on a secondary thing right in here. I've kind of left this corner out because I do want to go over here and kind of build up another little bit of a room. But I did get a little bit of a kitchen going, kind of playing around with the quests that come in the beginning section over here. So you don't have to do anything in this corner from what I can tell. There's no real reason to do anything over in this corner unless you want to. I was just wondering whether or not some of the stuff that we were going to get was going to be useful or doable or nice or whatever. So I went ahead and did the normal kitchen kind of thing that I would normally set up for cooking for blockheads to include the sink and the oven and the refrigerator and the cooking table. I have not yet made the cow thing because I think we're going to do something special with that, I hope. And then I went and messed around with everything else. The problem that I've noticed, and it's mainly because of the fact that we have been given, I'm so used to Pam's Harvestcraft and cooking for blockheads that when I got this built and I looked through it, there's nothing in here. And the reason why there's nothing in here is because all of the special items are either going to be from Champion or Farmer's Delight. Farmer's Delight requires you to use a cooking pot and a skillet, these two things, to cook the majority of the stuff that's available in that mod. So in theory, if you want to make really, really special, fancy, fun food, you don't need to make any of this. I don't even know why this mod's in this pack because all of the special recipes need to be made in that thing or need to be made in the mixing thingy. I think we can see it in here. The mixer that you can make it, you can automate it through Create. So I don't know why this is here. Maybe because they just wanted it to look cool. And again, I've used it a lot, so I kind of tend to just kind of keep things around. And then I fiddled around a little bit with the winery mod, which is a royal pain in the tail because apparently winery does not have any NEI or whatever this is, REI support. So they were kind enough to at least link it so that you could build the parts that you need to build in order to be able to do a few things. But as far as that, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with this. I guess this cooking pot probably works like this pot. I don't know. I have no clue. I kind of was goofing around and made a little bit of wine just because there was a thing that you can do, but supposedly winery and the brewing thing, this brewing one down here, is early access to potion effects, which is kind of cool because, like I said, with a little bit of white grape juice, basically, I think, or red grape juice, you make a noir wine and you age it in the aging barrel, and the longer you leave it in the barrel, the longer its effects last. Now that year 10 says we've been in game for 10 years because of the fact that that's how long it counts. But I just wanted to kind of touch on it, and if you kind of decorate and do a few things, I stole some stuff from other locations and brought it in here and sat it down. Figured if nothing else, there, I made a kitchen. I'm actually kind of decorating and building a few things, and it's definitely a hot mess in here, and it's fine. That's okay. I only need it for food, so that's the way that's going to go. The rest of the base, we have a small, teeny tiny factory built up. Finally, I went and set up all of the water wheels that we currently have, and then kind of daisy chained them together for the very, very time being. Our friends are here. Hi, guys. Go away. I did dig out a nice big hole, and then in process found an even bigger hole in the corner that I already have an idea and a plan for, so we'll mess around with that eventually. And there's a really cool thing in the ceiling in here, but anyhow, went daisy chained everything together so that we have at least 2,000 stress units available to us to play with. I'm currently using almost all of it because I have been doing a bunch of stuff. So of course, the first thing we do, we set up the millstone that I had set up, and this millstone is currently working on grinding up a bunch of just random junk that I have been mining. Mainly because that's how we're going to get nether quartz right now. Diorite is how we're going to get nether quartz. If you grind or mill down dripstone block, you will get clay. And if you grind or millstone down ochre, you can possibly get gold. So we're going to save a bunch of the stuff. Okay, moving into the next step. Of course, the mechanical mixer with the basin and the automation to kind of make it usable for various things. We will touch on that as we go. Let's see, this is the, oh yeah, this is the mechanical press, somewhat automated, so you put stuff in that chest, it goes through and drops it into there. Then I have a saw, because, you know, saws and plates and getting lots and lots and lots of shafts. This is the way to get those, because you take the, in here, this one andesite alloy turns into 6 shafts. However, also in here, which is kind of a thing you have to be really careful with, this. If you're not careful, that will also turn, well, god dang it, hang on. If you do this as well, it has the chance of doing this, which I believe is a bug. So I get that this is part of the test and part of the way you're supposed to be able to get stone and wooden tools, but I also believe that that is an overlapping bug that needs to get fixed. So we'll worry about that as we go. I went ahead and hooked up a melter. Are you done? I think you're done. I think it's just fake. Yeah, it's fake. There's a problem with the way this works, and it is interesting, and I don't know why it does what it does. But anyhow, we did that. I took the melter in here because of the fact that the melter, if you put your raw metals, these types of metals, in here, so we'll grab that block of gold and put it in there. A block of gold, raw gold, will make 9 ingots and 3 ingots because of it. So it makes 9 ingots, or I should say, let me put it like this. Every piece of raw metal you put in this thing is going to give you an ingot and 3 nuggets. So, you know, you do the math. 9 of those will make 3 ingots. So if you block it up into block form, it will always produce however many ingots that are needed to go. So then we just pump that out of there using a pump, which we built and hooked up to the system, pump it into a stirred casting table because that's the quickest, easiest way to do the math, and then that is then removed and dropped into a chest down here for now. Again, all totally temporary. I cannot wait for brass because we are once we get brass, everything's going to get a heck of a lot easier. And then, of course, I have the bulk smelting thing set up just so that I can do what I need to do. So, the mining machine, I have modified this a little bit now so that we can kind of talk about it if we need to. It is a reasonable size. I have learned, finally, about where I need to be in order to find lots and lots and lots of iron, and I mean lots of iron. This last little batch of iron in here, I mean, I know it's kind of, I should look at it like this. There's several blocks of iron in there, finally. There's also several blocks of copper. You want to mine for iron about level 12 or 13. Just above the layer of where all of the deep slate hits, you want to be just above that, and then you want to kind of go just a little bit higher than that. And you also want to try to stay the heck out of any area where the water is very, very, very much a pain in the tail. So the reason why I say that is because the possibility for water in caves just goes sky high when you are working in an an ocean biome or something like that. What's interesting is, like, again, we have the blocks of redstone. When I dug this whole area out, I modified this out, took those out, and used redstone torches here instead of the redstone blocks, and holy cow is this thing fast. I mean, it took me, I'm going to say 30 minutes to dig this out with that thing right there. Although I kind of configured it so it was that tall. So it is what it is. If you use those blocks, it takes forever to dig something out. It didn't take very long, but yeah, if you know you're in an area where you only need a little bit of, well, you're not going to be in the water, change the redstone blocks out for redstone torches, and then this thing flies. It's faster than using a furnace minecart right there. So enjoyed it quite a bit. Anyhow, we'll go over and take a look at the hole in the wall over here. We're probably going to make very much use of this for a later project, but yes, as I was cutting through here, a nice big gigantic cave opened up in our our base, and well, it's going to be what it is and does what it does. I kind of ran around down there because we were busy digging some other things. The plan I have, I think, for this hole, at least for right now, is that the create mod has a function in it that if you can create a tank full of a liquid that is 10,000 blocks, then it will be technically infinite, which means you can make an infinite pool of lava or an infinite pool of, well, fuel or things and stuff like that, should you be able to figure out how to do it. And since this hole is probably roughly about that size, I mean, I'll have to do a little bit of math on it. We may just build a naturally large pool of lava in here and glass it all off, and that will be our power source for the rest of the playthrough, because lava is in a massive way easy to make a lot of power with, because of the fact that that melter, we can stick a tank underneath of it, and of course eventually we'll probably be into a tinker's smeltery, but I can replace this little melter, the seared heater, with a tank, pump it full of lava, and then this thing will run actually faster, I think, but then you'll just be running off of the lava. Now, lava is something we can make infinitely regardless, and we may just start working on that today, or we may, I don't know, we got a whole bunch of things I got to do, because we're in that early stage. We're in that early stage of playing a mod pack, because I have a lot of building I've got to do. I've got a lot of infrastructure I've got to get set up. I've got a lot of digging and decorating that I need to do, and, you know, there's other farms and whatnot that we've got to build. So let's go downstairs. So the beauty of that machine, again, is I just used it to cut a hole from one side of the mountain to the other, cut a hole from one side of the mountain to the other, and then I used it to cut this hole out. And, well, we're back to farming trees again, finally. So we're going to start by doing probably just mostly rubber saplings for now. Rubber saplings, it's stuck. It's just, yeah, I'm in it. Let me out. No, let me out. Thank you. Can you pick up? I don't know what it's this is just standard Minecraft. We all know how that works. If I stop and reload and come back, it'll be fine. I did go ahead and expand it out. It is now 11 blocks wide. It's 11 blocks wide because I felt like putting torches down through the center, which means it needs to be able to do a few things, you know, just so that stuff grows quickly. And of course, we have a portable storage interface doing the work, pulling stuff off so that we can have some things. Once we get this figured out, this is tall enough that everything we need, unfortunately, everything we're going to have to look at later on is going to require rubber. So we're going to be automating this process of the rubber logs into rubber all the way down to the end and store as much of it as we can. We're going to build another one of these setups over here. Hang on. Let me reload and get this to come back for us. There we go. That's what we're talking about. So let's get it over here and we'll take a stop. That way it doesn't need to keep running. When it gets back over here, it'll do what it needs to do. So apparently one thing I did find out, and it may just be because it's slowly eating all of this stuff up as well. And I'm going to have to make sure that's not the case. If these are replacing it, whatever, it's fine. The rubber trees don't need any more than about 8 blocks tall to grow. That little stupid spike on the top of them doesn't need that much room. So that's great. That means we can do all the work. But again, this is a problem. Like I stated earlier, these guys right here can't place anything on the ground if you don't have that, you know, allow fake players to work, because this is a fake player. So anytime you want to use one of these things, you got to make sure that the area, if you're going to chunk load it, you have to have that setting turned on. So we'll let this go to work and do what it needs to do, and then it'll go bloop, 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 bloop. I'm just a little worried that all of the holes in the ceiling up here, yeah, it is replacing blocks, so it might need to go one more higher. I have lots of room. I'm going to get stuck in it. There's at least lots of room from where we're going to go up here. I went down 10 blocks under the area above us. I'm hoping that's all the more they try to replace is that far up, although I do see a hole right there, and I may have to come up with a hole or a block or something that is a little bit stronger than that, because I do have intents and purposes above here for the other farms that we're going to need. So we'll see how it all goes. Anyhow, I've got a bunch of stuff to do still, and I've got a bunch of little things that we can claim. So let's go ahead and get into our quest book and take a look at some of that stuff. Again, I am kind of moving towards a specific direction so that we can get some things done. Let's look at what happened in here. Now, last time we got into this section right here, in out mining, I went and found a whole bunch of this stuff. So if you can automate this, you can find a way to passively generate seared stone, all this kind of stuff, fine, whatever. Or you can just go out in the world and mine it. This stuff is everywhere, just like the automate tin and the other things. So we'll go ahead, claim all of that. The tin, I have yet to go find a whole lot of azurine, but we can I think there's actually a bunch right out here in the river where that little broken down house was. There's a bunch underneath of it. We can definitely go get that eventually. Reusable casts, collect them all, 20 in total. Advanced tools, I went ahead and made a hammer, and I'm not going to worry about that. We'll get this going sorted. And I made one of these Tinker's Anvils. Just because the Tinker's Anvils will allow us to get to the point where you can make hammers, you can make scythes, you can make lumber axes, you can make battle axes, you can make all the other things. Not having that 3x3 mining tool in my hand was annoying, so I did what I could do to make it work, got it sorted. This, again, it's just the same old thing. What's cool about this is should allow us to be able to modify our tools, modify our things, let us have a little bit more fun, and, kind of work around with some stuff. So that's taken care of. Get lucky, first level fortune uses this recipe. I don't have anything set up for this. We'll work on these as they go. It's not a big problem. So going that direction then, because of the fact that I wanted to try to automate the seared heater, seared melter, I went ahead and made a little bit of fluid pipe. Fluid pipe, again, rubber. This is where that rubber is going to come in because we're going to need a lot of this stuff. Rubber and a mechanical pump, again, all pretty simple, easy. I will take your copper. This is some other stuff we're going to have to play with and learn. Automate gold. Again, found 256 ochrum. That got us 64 gold reinforcements that we can put on our tools eventually. However, I have to have a slot for that to happen, and I think I probably already messed this up regardless. But I will play around with that eventually. Right now, I'm not worried about it. Put this stuff in here so you don't lose it, please. Thank you. Okay. And then, of course, moving forward into some of the other things. It's going to push us down into mechanical belts. We've already done the mechanical belt stuff. We've already done the andesite funnel stuff again, and advanced storage options. These are fantastic. These item vaults, we will be making use of them as we automate our create contraptions. And again, they're not really expensive, and it holds an awful lot of stuff. We'll play with them when we get there. Finally got some funnels, because that's how you manage to make logistics happen. Those are the first funnels. And again, these funnels require an andesite alloy and a rubber. We're all into that point. And of course, mechanical belts. Mechanical belts, we need dried kelp and rubber. We can start to see some of the things that we need to be automating and setting up farms for, because I'm going to try to do a lot of things with the create mod, and that's just going to be the way that it needs to happen. In funnels, Awkward's little friend, andesite tunnels. Tunnels we can use later, and of course, iron chests, not going to worry about it. Why are we doing this? We're going to click on the basis of automation, chapter 2.5 unlocks. So this is the point where it starts to tell you all of the things that you should be doing, or at least figuring out what you can do. It's telling you that you need to start worrying about being able to automate everything. And we can automate everything using the create mod. And I mean almost every single everything. So it's going to have us try to automate iron and flint. I understand totally how to make this. I could probably actually get this going right now. Zinc, same deal. Red sand, lots of this, lots of that. A lot of this stuff is completely, totally automatable from the ground up with cobblestone, as we kind of found out in the last mod pack, which is kind of cool. Possibilities, we're just going to head and click on this one. It just says you can do whatever you want to do and all that kind of fun stuff. Anything is likely automatable. So glue and one of those things. I kind of want to crank through some of this because a lot of this is just, if you've played with the create mod, you know how this works. So it is, oh, give me my thing. Give me it back. 4. Oh my gosh, you want me to make 4 of them? Fine, I'll make 4 of them real quick. Okay, 40 chutes, because chutes, we probably should have a bunch of those, and I can make 4 portable storage containers. I guess I could have just gone around and picked all of the ones up laying around all over the place that I've already crafted, but I haven't made 4 in one go. The reasoning why they're telling you this is because this is the beginning. We've already done all this. It's kind of one of those, we've already done all this, so that's kind of why I want to jump into it, because of the fact that it's going to allow you to understand how to make things go. So your boy kind of jumped the gun like he always does because he knows how to do things. And the point is I want to try to get to a point where I'm not doing as much work by myself as I possibly can. So then it wants a cart loader. Cart loader, cool. Cart assembler, cart loader, cart deal. And then, yes, all of those. So then what we can do is we can come in here, since we already built it, and just borrow a few of these miners. So they're immediately telling you all the stuff that I've already done. And I guess if we'd have just pushed a little bit harder in the first couple episodes, it would have made a little more sense. So if I go like this, pick these up so that this stuff doesn't move, and you, wonk, and you, where are you? Where did you go? There you go. You go right there. It's going to go, okay, fine. And then I can take the cart unloader right there, cart assembler, and then we can borrow a few of these real quick. Use the thing. Still getting used to this. How many do you want me to have? Oh, yeah, I got to tear the whole stinking thing apart. Okay, just looking that one over. We'll do that one another day, or I'll go ahead and get all that done, knocked out on the end of it, because it's going to require me to make a bunch of things that I don't want to make right now, and I'm going to have to go rip the other one down so that I can get some deployers. This is a simple, easy way of making it, and there's no reason to make that many deployers. So we can kind of talk about what I have done with it as far as making one of these. And this is not my design. I stole it from, you know, the first person that had a reasonable YouTube channel. So it's kind of one of those things. But there are some very important things that you need to worry about, specifically that little problem right there. If you take your wrench and you hold it over the interface here and scroll, it gives you 3 options as to do what's going on. This thing is going to be laying its own tracks and picking its own tracks back up. That's what the this mechanical plow is for. I guess I can grab that and put it in the box. There you go. So mechanical plows, if I wanted to do, say, like we were talking about with the redstone torches, I replace this one, this mechanical drill right here, with a mechanical plow so that it can pick up the redstone torches. So that's the reason why there's another deployer over here placing cobblestone down, because, well, the redstone doesn't necessarily need to have the cobblestone placed underneath of it. Torches do if you want to get through an area where there's a big gigantic cave. But again, it's kind of one of the things you want to work on when you play with it. These 2 deployers are very important because they're there to make sure that the machine keeps moving forward by placing blocks into an empty space that's in front of the machine. Again, here you've got something that's placing, you can't see it right now, it's placing redstone blocks, and then this one is placing the track, kind of the way it goes down. When you're building these things, this is the other thing that is kind of the thing that they don't tend to tell you. When you're building these and you need to be able to put a filter into the deployer, like we have right here where that is, if I click on that, I'll remove the filter. But like, if you are building this, you have to set the filters before you tell the machine to assemble. If you don't, then you won't be able to tell this deployer what to do, and it'll place the first thing in an inventory that it can find. So that actually means right now I need to break that guy again and put their tools back in their box so that they know what they're doing. Where's all my redstone blocks? Okay. That way we've got enough stuff to make that work. That's way more overkill. It's just the problem is when you pick this thing up and move it, it tends to leave things laying around on the ground. So you got to kind of make sure you don't do the, you know, don't do the big dumb. So we'll grab one of those real quick now that we have this set up. Again, always lock rotation so that it's always moving the direction you want it to. When we place a redstone block next to it, make sure everything that is attached to it, again, is glued and attached. I think I can actually show the glue if I do this, right? Yeah, everything's glued, so you can kind of get an idea. Now, when they say linear chassis in here, this in here, you don't need to use that to make these machines. Anything that you glue together, that minecart will drag along with it, so that's fine. We'll pick it up, and then we'll just kind of do this. Thank you, so that I can get that back. All right, nice. And then we can pick those up and we can kind of put it back where it needs to go. Once again, probably at the end of today's episode, after the end of today's episode, I will be taking that thing out mining like I have been doing every single day, because we've dug holes and dug holes and dug holes and dug holes. This is a lot of mining. Just that much iron right there is a lot of mining. It's ridiculous. but it's working. So, all right, let's see. Can we knock some more stuff out? This might be one of those long episodes where we just kind of dig through all of these things and get them done. I am going to, again, leave this stuff alone. This is just basic farming. It's stuff we've already done. You want me to make a rubber hand to get a deployer. I'm not going to get anything out of that. So our main goal is going to be going to this direction. Yes, there's some stuff up here. Yes, I've already kind of messed around with that, and we can go ahead and probably grab a few things from that. Let me make a few more tanks, or at least make some more copper sheets. Like about that many. And I need to go make a couple of the barrels, and I'll be right back. Man, it takes a long time to push 4 stacks of copper through that thing to get 4 stacks of this stuff. So let's just grab the 2 that are done. We'll go make a couple of barrels real quick. And then we should be able, tanks. We should be able to move on, and I will craft the rest of these later. So quests. For those, you won't be able to use Tinker's Fluid tanks until owning a smelter that comes later. Interesting. Hang on a second. Tank. Where is it? It's in this one. Hang on a second. I love all these. Alt-click. Alt-click. Thank you. Tank. Ah, I see. I see that you're still wrong, because this is still technically a gauge, or a tank. So, that's scorched. I think I can make scorched brick right now, too, because I remember... Yeah, nether grout, I think. Soul sand scoria. Oh yeah, right. We're not there yet. We're not capable of doing that just yet. So all right, that's kind of the point. I'm trying to figure out what we need to do to be able to get towards brass, and brass is going to be that thing that we really need to get after. Up here is some very important information for you to pay attention to. This efficient alloy, this compound mixture. I've already done this. I've already figured it out. This is a good use for your mixer and whatnot. So essentially all you do is you take a pump like we have right here, you attach it to the basin right here, you plug it into a casting table with a casting thingy like this. This is glitched out. I don't know why it does this. There's nothing in there right now. It's just glitched, and I don't, mainly because we walked away from it. There's not a block of ingot. There's nothing in this. It's just visual glitch right there. But you do something similar to that to this, and then you use the, where is it? This into that does the, well, this compound mixture here. This mixture, any one of these, will then create you a single piece of andesite alloy instead of using 3 of every one of those things to get there. It's a big deal. Same thing here with bronze. Bronze does the same thing. You can do it in, where is it? Yeah, copper ingot, tin ingot will give you, I guess, double what it was before, or whatever, triple, however it goes. And of course, lava generation. We will probably start not working on this in the next episode. If not, I will start to build it out pretty soon, because of the fact that we're going to have to start using lava for a lot of things. So we'll have to figure that out, because there's an awful lot of things that we're going to need to be able to work with lava eventually. That moves us into this. What are you short here? Why are you not happy with me? Rubber hand. Okay, we need to go do another rubber hand. Let's go make one of those real fast and start trying to move. Damn it, Enderman. And try to move a little bit towards where we need to go. So you want some rubber. Somehow I have not understood how this has not worked. We need 4 of those. And an andesite thing. There you go. Thank you. Cool. All right. That'll get us the deployer rubber hand. It's a very special item that allows you to do a bunch of stuff. And of course, you want me to advance track factory. Chain track recipes from chapter 1. Well, if you're able to now produce tracks at 1/3 the cost, iron nuggets can be automated too, which is great. If you only stone slabs can be automated. Or is there a way? Yes, there is. I know there is a way. To complete the advancement, the same mechanical press must be used to create 1,000 track pieces. Oh my, wow. Wow, that's a heck of a reward. 64 train casings? Nice. Okay. Well, we'll keep going. So you want me to use a copper casing now as an andesite casing and some, let me see. I think it's just that, right? Is it just, oh, you sucker. See, now we're going to start getting into the fun things. 3 times? Wow. I guess I got to make a few deployers. Give me a second. Just have to do the scrubby. Okay, couple of deployers. I'm a dummy and I didn't even bother to look. I knew I had some sitting in here, but hey, we can always use more. We made a bunch of plates, bunch of things. Let's go set up something very, very down and dirty and hope this will let us do what we want to do with it because, well, I think I'm going to have to shut something off in here in order to be able to make that work. How much do you use? I don't even want to know. Crap. I'm going to have to find a place somewhere down here to put this and then shut something off probably. Let me do a little bit of jankiness here. We'll build something back here just for the time being. I want a gearbox. Oh, I gotta love the jankness that comes out of some of this kind of stuff. You just make things work however you need to make things work. So that should do it for this time being. So stole a little bit of power, shut this off, hooked a couple of deployers up on top of here. This is going to be something we'll have to automate for certain. There's going to be a lot of these little projects like this that this factory is going to have. Now, whether or not it's going to stay automated all the time, I don't know. But what we got to do is we got to give this guy 3 copper sheets since this requires 3 run-throughs. So as we see here, click 3 times, and then we do this. There you go there. There you go there. Give me that one. There you go there. Pick it up again and do it one more time. And that should give us our part. Nice. Okay, cool. So how we'll end up automating this is something that we don't have access to at this point, which is a mechanical hand. This guy right here, once we get this mechanical arm, it's brass, and you know, I think we can even make the precision mechanisms. We can't because we have to go to the moon to get dash. I love the complexity that they have put into this pack. It's enough that every time I click on another recipe, I'm like, God, I think I know what I'm doing. And it's like, no, this is the kind of gating I like. This is the kind of fun stuff that I'm enjoying. So we got our copper casing, which means now anytime I want to build anything with this, the portable fluid storages or the item drains or the hose pulley. This is going to be very important for us when the time comes to be able to make certain things like infinite lava or ME fluid cells or stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of things that we're going to be using that for, I don't think, except for our, wow. I'm going to shut my mouth. That is awesome. 2 ingots of molten brass. Wow. Okay. No, I'm down. I'm down. I get it. I understand totally. That's a progression. That's what I'm talking about. That's like from the last time. You know, that's a progression. This is easy to make for the most part. It just requires a lot of this stuff and some wood. Then you have to take this piece and mix it with something else to make this piece. And this piece, you have to mix it with something else to make brass casings, which I'm pretty certain well, the train casings are made with something else. But yeah, anything else I want to unlock, that means I'm going to have to automate that process because I'm going to need an awful lot of those brass casings. I love it. I think that's perfect. That's great. That's wonderful. Thank you. Give me the stuff for here. Now we've got it overlooked to copper casing. Also have an easily overlooked practical application. Check the ponder. Oh. That's nice to know. Thank you very much. I will worry about that later. Cool. What else can we do? Boy, they've got us blocked hard going this direction. A spout. I need dried kelp. We can use that with the thing we just have. Let's see how far we can go. Spout. Thank you. Compatible with Tinker's fluids and casting basin recipes if... really? That's neat. That would make that so much nicer to automate too, because that means you could, that's cool. I like that idea. We're going to have to play with those. And then we're going to have to do rose gold. Rose gold is mixing gold and copper in a thing with a, okay. Gotcha. All right. I can see the wormhole that I'm fixing to jump off into, and I think it's going to be a little too long for today's episode. This one's probably going to be a little long and a little all over the place, but we're definitely going to have to slow down. So, um, in the next episode, we will work through the rest of this chapter. We're going to have to make some rose gold so that we can make electron tubes so that we can get into the next level over here, because somewhere over here in this area, we're going to go to the moon and do some things, I think. So we'll see what happens. Visit dimension the moon. Yeah, somewhere over here. So I'm hoping maybe next week we should be able to get this sorted. In the meantime, I will sit down, automate anything that I think I need to automate, maybe do a couple of other little things. There's some more stuff. I've read through a few things here, and I just know the way this is going to go. I'm trying, I hate to say it, I'm trying to get to brass as quickly as possible so that we can do some fun stuff with the steam boilers. However, looking at the way this goes, we're probably just going to go ahead and jump right into the steam engines, because I can make them these can be made. It's just gold, andesite, alloy, and blocks of copper. You can get a lot, and this is kind of the thing that's kind of silly about steam engines. This whole line here is all about, what is it, 2,500 SU, or stress units. One steam engine, and what did I do with all my tanks? Oh, I put them away. One steam engine and a small boiler setup thing and a campfire fed water will give you the same amount of stress units. So this right here, these fluid tanks, you can take and make a steam boiler just kind of something like this, just like that, and attach a couple of engines to this and put campfires underneath of that, fill it full of water, and it will give you the same amount of stress units out of that kind of a situation. Yes, it'll be slow, but it's not nearly as massive as this thing is. And I think the pump stress unit on the way that this would work over here, like I could dedicate an entire steam boiler specific, just one little thing to that, just to pump water into all of the other boilers that are going to be sitting there running with campfires. We should be able to get a heck of a lot of stress units really quickly. The thing is, do not make don't try to make a max size boiler, because the most you'll ever be able to make with a passive steam boiler setup is 2,000 stress units. So if you just double down, or make all of the parts it would normally take to make a max size one, once you get the ability to power it with lava or whatever else, meaning the blaze burners, then you can kind of go from there. So I might actually get to work on that in between episodes. But for now, sorry guys, I know it's going to be all over the place, rambling, doing the work. We've got a lot of work to do. I'll get something going for this so that by next time we'll have some things going. We might even try to go ahead and do the lava production, just because that's something we can definitely use. So for now, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.